Brandon Benefield, Gerard Bonner, and Diana Michelle.
What is going on, all the good people of Southern Honor Wrestling? Hey, this is the SHW podcast. This is our wrestling, your favorite weekly podcast representing all things Southern Honor. Of course, I'm GB, Gerard Bonner. Our broadcast partner is back after being on assignment for the new year. Brandon Benefield is here. And of course, the best looking part of V3, Diana Michelle, in the building. We are all here. And, firstly, before we get into what we're talking about today, how's everybody doing? Brandon, how are you? We haven't seen you officially on the podcast all year.
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here as your special guest this week because I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. It's the new year. We haven't had all three of us on here in the new year since 2025 hit. So it's good that V3 is back in full force this week. And yeah, man, things are good. We survived the snowstorm last Friday. Typically, this would be our recap show as we would be recapping the Year of Honor, which was supposed to happen last Friday. But GB, I know you're laughing because you're from up north, but you know how it goes down here in Georgia, man. When a little bit of snow, the state shuts down. So,
here's what's funny about that. I actually got my driver's license in the snow.
Okay.
Like I did. So that's how common snow is in New York. Driver's license, driver's tests, they don't stop, nothing stops. But yeah, I understand why though, because there's not really a budget here for sand and salt and all of the things that would make the snow go away quickly. So I understand. And I actually enjoyed watching the snow. I was surprised as much of it stuck as it did. So, yeah, that was fun. What wasn't fun was the power going out, but that's another story for another day.
That's never fun.
That was not fun at all. But yeah, we're good. So were you safe in things, Brandon?
Yeah, everything was good. I know, Diana, we were talking off air that, down there in Dublin, y'all didn't get a whole lot. We got it up here. I know GB got it down where he's at. So we had the and we were just talking, GB, you and I still can look out the window and see that we have little patches of snow and ice that haven't completely melted that are in the shade. And rumor has it there might be something coming next week. Fingers crossed that it's not bad, hopefully. If anything. See, that's the thing. Down here in Georgia, we're used to these big forecasts and then nothing really happens. Well, they were right last week. Friday, they called for it, and we certainly got it. But
for sure,
we did miss seeing everybody for SHW 70 Year of Honor. And actually, you saw it announced earlier today. You saw the graphic this morning. SHW 70 will now be February 7th. So I believe that's 3 weeks, I think, from today as you're watching this. And we're hoping everybody's schedules can line up, and we're hoping that it'll be somewhat of the same card that we were going to see in January. I'm still very excited to see that championship match between the number one contender, Alexander Lev, and the SHW champion, Joe Black. So hopefully we'll be seeing that. We will be announcing all the matches in the next week or two as we head into SHW 70 and can officially kick off 2025 for SHW. But man, it's good to see you guys. I feel like it's been a while. So we were missing some dates here during the holidays and stuff. So it's good to be back on track and have the family back together, as it were.
Well, so after this show, won't we have 3 before we hit 200?
Oh, for the podcast, I think you're right. I think we will this be episode 197?
Unless last week was. Unless this was not,
Let me double check, but I think you're right.
I can't remember what we called last week when me and GB was on.
It was stand by, stretch while I look it up.
Well, while that's happening, Diana, how was last week for you? I know you said you didn't quite have the snow fun that the rest of us had.
We had rain and it was cold and windy, but I stayed in. When I wasn't going, I had to go to work. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I didn't see snow until, I had to drive almost over an hour north towards Athens to even see anything white. And that was on Saturday. So it was all just shoved over from the roads. It was dirty and gross and nasty. So no, I didn't get any of the white, fun, pretty stuff. It was just South Georgia, How we do? We stay warm
We
and nasty
we
down
keep
here.
we keep telling you to come to Atlanta. I mean,
Then I couldn't have went
is there nothing?
anywhere because I've been stuck in the snow.
But you wouldn't have had to go to work.
That's true.
But I'd have
There
had
it
it piled
is.
up on me when I got back.
Oh no, it would have been fine. You'd been fine. You'd been fine.
It would
You
have been a
Telling you.
different job, right?
You'd have been like me.
That too.
They made us work from home. Or I could have done the whole, oh, my
We
car's
totally could
out.
do that if they would just.
Yeah.
But hey, so yes, you're right. Last week was episode 196. As you're watching this episode, this is 197. I cannot believe it, Diana and GB,
Wow.
3 away from 200. How in the world did
So that
happen?
means 200 will be live in the Action Building. Yeah.
Really?
Is that right?
That is
298,
right.
298,
Yeah.
299.
If it's 3 weeks
Wow.
from now, yeah.
Wow.
Hey, well, that's a whole different.
The
So
irony of that.
Live
Wow.
celebration.
go with that. That's awesome.
That's
We
what
will
it
have to have
Oh, that
community
happened.
cakes, Brandon.
Ooh. Hey,
For
I'm
real
sold.
this time. For
Ain't
real
got to tell
this
me
time.
twice.
That's hilarious.
Old.
That is hilarious.
Diana, you mentioned us going, or you were going up to Athens. Well, we'll touch on that in a second because we went up to Athens because AEW Collision was there. Got to see
Yes.
our pal Tony Schiavone again, and I was super excited because they do the ROH tapings while they're doing Collision, before and after the live show. And man, talk about the SHW representation on that show. You had actually it aired last night. As you're watching this on Friday, it aired last night on the ROH, and it was Lee Johnson teaming
Mm-hmm.
with Shane Taylor Promotions while the infantry were on the outside in support. And it was just so cool seeing our SHW people representing on the big stage like that. Very cool.
Love
Very
it.
cool
Very
time.
cool. Very cool.
GB, we missed you. I know the snow kept you in,
Totally.
Yeah.
but
yeah,
yeah,
the
it
snow
was
kept
good.
me, but I did get to watch. I did get to see you guys on TV, which is fun, right where you belong.
The back of our heads.
Back-
Well, hey.
that wind blown back in here where I was freezing walking through. Oh my God. That was a whole
That's
different.
Can
That's
we?
a whole
Okay,
different story.
GB, let me just tell you how this played out. Okay.
Please.
So this is a fairly brand new arena, Aikens Ford Arena, I think it's called in
Mhm.
Athens. Pretty new. Obviously first wrestling show there, and we've never been. So we've been to the Gwinnett Arena a bunch of times, been to Phillips a bunch
Right.
of times. We know where the
Right.
parking is. We know the layout. This place, very hard to figure out where to park and where to go. And so our buddy Mark Owens went with us as well. So he and I were there, and I'm on the phone with Diana, and she's trying to figure out where to go. And somehow or another, we're up on this upper level near where the entrance was, and you
Okay.
can overlook the side, and it's like 3 stories down, and there's like a lower level where there's like the AEW
All
trucks
the
on the
trucks.
side. And then I
Okay.
just see this one lady walking in her big giant leopard print coat on her phone, and there's nobody else down there. And I was like, how did you even
Nobody.
get there? I was
Wow.
He's like,
where do
he's
I
like, do
go?
you see the people? We're up here by the trucks, and there's all the people. I said, there's nobody. There's nobody. There's no person but me. And I don't know what trucks you're talking about, but it's not the trucks.
Oh
I got
gosh.
all the trucks. I
Yeah.
don't know where
Wow.
you are, but I heard him say, Diana.
Wow.
Back when I still had a voice, I was yelling.
It was wild and cold. It was freaking cold.
That's crazy.
So
But
crazy.
It
She
was
found
very
us.
cool.
She found us. It worked out. We made it.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
got some steps in that night. Mhm.
Yeah. But
Very
it's good
good.
times.
Wow.
Good times.
Good times.
Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that's the cool thing. You never know where you'll see us in the wrestling world, because if anything comes around at any point in time, any one of us or all 3 of us could be in that space. And over the next few weeks, actually, there's a lot of wrestling coming here. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to it, but Raw, NXT, that's coming. MLW is coming. Dynamite is coming. All of this in the next few weeks. And sandwiched in there, of course, is SHW 70 on February 7th. So I'm excited. I think it's a great time to be a wrestling fan, certainly here in the North Georgia, Atlanta area. So I hope you guys are taking full advantage of it. And again, it's one of the reasons why I love what we do at Southern Honor, because it is highly likely that you will see someone at Southern Honor on a national television screen at some point. We're seeing it, of course, with our tag team champions, the Infantry. in addition to several other names you've seen over time that have come through Southern Honor. We talked before about Austin Theory in that great match he had at WrestleMania against John Cena and all that we're seeing with him. We've even talked about how not just the people that you're seeing on the stage, but there are people who show up to our shows that some of whom you see, some of whom you don't. We talked before about how Xavier Woods was at our last show backstage. Like, you just never know. All the more reason why you have to be present. So we certainly look forward to seeing all of you on February 7th for SHW 70. It ought to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
We're going from the January show and we're trying to transition into the February show with. Does that mean that we actually missed our chance to have a show without Matt Griffin?
Oh no, Diana!
I know, but
why'd you remind us? I forgot all about that.
It kind of reminded me on his post today when he said he won the war when he actually just won the lookalike contest. But yeah. Just saying.
Oh my gosh, the lookalike contest.
Yeah, he wanted to look like Gary. He wanted to be like Gary. He wanted to do like Gary, and that's exactly what that picture would look like. It looked like he was trying to be Gary.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Right. You guys didn't see that? I mean, it's
I
not
have
worth
not seen
looking
it.
up.
Wow.
Just saying.
Okay.
Well,
wow.
You know,
amazing.
Before we even get there, so that's February 7th. I know you guys did a whole, or most of the episode last week was about the awards. So the awards are coming up.
They are.
It made me wonder, like, I was thinking, oh, we're not going to have to see Matt Griffin, but now I'm thinking, well, maybe we'll have to see him at the awards. And then, now that you just reminded me, maybe we'll end up seeing him at SHW 70 now as well.
Which
I don't know.
means almost 2 weeks in a row.
But by the way, real quick, I didn't get to be here last week to congratulate you guys. But again, congrats to V3 tearing it up with the nominations and SHW as a whole. Representing all over the award nominations. So
yes,
very excited. Remind me, is it January 26th?
It is January 26th. It is a week from this Sunday.
Yes.
No pressure, guys, but a whole 9 days away.
Wow.
It is a whole 9 days away. So
you got your fits? Have you got your fits together?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I will. I will be ready. I will have something. What I'll have to go back and look and see what I didn't wear. And so
that's the thing, is trying to figure out what have I not worn yet, what tie combo with the jacket, and figure something out. But I think I've got something.
I try to match my fit to my attitude, so it really depends on how I'm feeling.
Okay.
That's actually not the first time I've heard that. I've heard of other friends who are just like that, who they'll bring just all kinds of clothes with them where they're going because of how they may feel.
Depends on how. I mean, I might have different ideas. I have an idea, but it might completely change today.
Well, what's funny then to me about that, if that's the case, I feel like multiple outfits of yours mean sassy Diana.
You're right.
True.
You're right.
True. Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever seen subdued Diana. I
don't think there is one.
Well, there it is. That's good to know.
Even GB, even the show where you weren't with us, it was TCW versus SHW, and the show she was there and didn't have a voice, so Cheyenne filled in, and even that night, without a voice, without doing any ring announcing, still sassy Diana.
Of course.
Hunter James was trying me.
Her and Hunter James getting into it with Diana. It was crazy.
It's all right.
Very, very interesting. Hey, so let me ask this of both of you. I'll start with you, Diana. Obviously you have won 4 times in a row for Announcer of the Year. What does it mean to be nominated for a 5th time? And by many accounts, going from year 1, where it was kind of like the new kid on the block, to now being the odds-on favorite. What does that feel like?
Well, actually, it's my 6th nomination.
Excuse me.
It is. I was nominated in 19, and that was pretty much like my very first full year. Okay. And I really didn't know anybody or anything. I was just working for that Lariato and AWN, I think it was. And that was really exciting just to learn that my name was getting out there, and I don't even know how it got there. Like, people were nominating me and I didn't know who they were. I was like, okay, that was pretty cool. So to even be nominated that year was special. I mean, it was, you're glued to the radio and you just want to hear the whole thing. I say
Mhm.
radio, blog talk, whatever it was we were
Yeah,
doing,
yeah, yeah.
just listening, because you don't really, I mean, it was my first time ever really listening and
Mhm.
hearing what was going on and how it worked. And all the people who won and they did their little speeches, and it was cool because you got to see how big Georgia wrestling actually is.
Mhm.
And that was 5 6 years ago, and
Mhm.
now it's even bigger.
Yeah.
And to, like, to what you mentioned, that this would be my fifth, well, my sixth nomination, but I've won 4 years in a row, and that's crazy. It's I know it's like, oh yeah, you won 4 times in a row, whatever, but I'm the woman that seems to be the only woman on the ballot for the last 5 years, and that's really cool to me. I mean, there's a lot of good announcers out here in Georgia. There's a lot of good voices out here in Georgia, and I feel like I'm still learning. I'm still doing a lot to better myself and to be Diana, but I'm really excited about being nominated again. And it's every year it's just humbling.
Yeah,
All over it's just humbling because it could be anybody.
for sure.
It could be anybody. And I'm trying to help others who are getting in the business, and do all I can to help them be noticed and recognized. And to me, that's really the most important thing. You leave it better than what you found it, and that's my goal. So win, lose, or not, whatever, I'm just excited to be there.
I
Yeah,
love that. I
that's
love that.
cool.
I love that. Now, Brandon, I've got to ask you, you have a very unique distinction. You are nominated not once, but twice in the same category this year,
How'd
which
you pull that off?
which officially takes your nomination count to 6 as well, just like Diana. Pretty incredible. What does that feel like for you? 6 nominations, particularly 2 in the same category. I don't think that's ever been done before.
Well, first off, how in the world? I'm still kind of baffled at the whole. I mean, it's very humbling, and flattering, but it's still just like, what? Wait a second, what? Um, no, every year we kind of say the same thing about this. It's really cool just to be nominated. Take away winning it. But just being nominated in the same breath as a lot of these other great talented folks in the Georgia scene. And so that alone, because we know that it's wrestling peers, it's other wrestling, it's the wrestlers, it's other announcers, it's other people in the business that are making the nominations, and then ultimately that are voting for the winners. And so that alone is very a special thing. I feel like for all of us.
Yeah.
The fact that our name's out there, and like Diana said, that first year, like for you and me, Gerard, that was um, the first year we won. It was the first year the commentary team was even a category, because
Correct.
Right.
prior to that, it was just the announcer. They would kind of
Mhm.
include commentary, but it was always a ring
Yeah.
announcer. It was just an announcer award, and it was
Right.
always a ring announcer that would win it. So the fact that you and I, the first year commentary became an award,
Yeah.
we've won it, and
Yeah.
every year since that's
Yeah.
been an award, we've won it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a special thing. It's very cool. Uh, win, lose, or not, as Diana said, the fact that you get nominated is just a very cool, special thing. So thanks to everybody out there that nominated. Now the whole thing about nominated twice in the same category, I don't know if that'll be to our detriment. I hope not. Because they said it, Larry, I think said it, or somebody on one of the on the podcast when they made the announcements. I never took that into account of being like,
Hmm.
oh man, I don't want to split the votes being in two, promotions, and
Hmm.
I don't know how it's going to play out, but um, it's very bizarre. It's still weird. It's still hard to believe that that actually happened. So, thanks again to everybody that voted, though. It's very cool, and of course, I'm absolutely honored and privileged and thrilled to be nominated alongside my fellow V3 members. So, very excited for us, and excited for next Sunday, because that'll be the award show down in Atlanta, and
Mhm.
excited to see you guys there, and excited to see everybody there dressed to the nines, I know you guys talked about it last week. GB, I think you were talking about seeing like your postman out in public and
Yeah.
seeing him not wearing his normal
Yeah.
outfit, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it is very much like that. I like that analogy
It
because it
is.
is, you see everybody wearing their like tuxes and their fancy dresses and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Yeah.
used to seeing them in their wrestling gear. And so
Right.
you're just seeing everybody kind of in a different element, right? And so
Yeah.
it's cool to see everybody there. And as Diana mentioned, I think last week as well, networking with everybody. You know, you
Yeah.
see a lot of familiar faces, but then you also get to see faces that you've heard of, and you just never met them before. And
Yeah.
so that's always cool at these events as well. So very excited to be there. I don't know that. Well, by the time this airs, maybe we'll know, but I'm not sure if we even know what we're presenting yet. I know we'll be presenting awards, so it's always cool that they ask us to kind of help with some of that as well. So, looking forward to seeing everybody. Hopefully, a lot of the fans will come. The
Yeah.
fans have been invited to this, as it's only been a live award show for the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's been a very cool thing as well to see the fans actually showing up and being a part of it as well. But
Yeah.
that's the thing I think a lot of people don't realize. They've had the awards for what, like 20 years at this point?
Forever. Yeah.
Sure.
And so yeah, so
Sure.
this is just the third time in person. And I
Yeah.
and I hats off to Naj for kind of spearheading the whole live award show
Mm-hmm.
initiative and making it a thing,
Yeah.
because that's so much cooler, being in person and getting all
Right.
Mm-hmm.
dressed up, and it's just such
Sure.
a much neater thing. Nothing against the announcing it on a podcast, but it's just this is way cooler in my opinion. So I'm excited, man. Excited for it. Excited to see you guys there next Sunday. And
Yes.
yeah, hoping for the best.
Awesome. Well, I want to remind you all that you can attend this event. This is not just exclusive to wrestlers, but you can be present. Head to the website, georgiawrestling.eventb.com. Again, georgiawrestling.eventb.com. Get your tickets now. Do not delay. The red carpet starts at 5:30 p.m. The event starts at 6:30. It's taking place at the IATSE Local 479, 4220 International Parkway in Atlanta. So you want to be there. You'll find out, as we all find out, who's winning what this year, which I think, 2024 was really a great year for Georgia wrestling all across the board. And certainly, I think it's one of the best years Southern Honor has ever had. We've had some of the best matches we've ever had. We've seen the development and growth of new stars in the Southern Honor universe. I think about Cody Fluffman and all that he did this year in terms of new faces. Hunter James really showed up in a big way this year in 2024. We've had a number of other stars that's really come through. I think Kyle Matthews had a resurgence in 2024. I
Yeah.
mean, to finally win singles gold in SHW is a big deal, and that's being rewarded by being nominated in the award named after him,
Yeah.
which is wild and it's incredible. Carly Bravo, obviously what he's done on the national scene to then come back home and to have such a great job that he's up for Wrestler of the Year, which
Mhm.
I mean, there's a big argument as to why that
And
should
tag
happen.
team.
And tag team of the year for the
Crazy.
infantry.
That's
So
crazy.
it's massive,
Wow.
and it just speaks to,
It's
I
about,
don't say it again.
it's about time.
Well, it
Yeah.
is it is about time. And I think, one of the things that I don't know if the fans recognize it, and sometimes being in it, we don't see it, but the tide is definitely changing in Georgia wrestling. We have a new crop of wrestlers that are standing up and doing great things. And to even see whether it's the creation of the Rookie of the Year award, which we saw for the first time last year, or as you mentioned, Brandon, the separation of announcer and commentary team of the year, the addition of promo of the year.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see the way that the awards are growing. And I do want to go ahead and shout out Naja. Naja Sism, who has been spearheading the idea of this being a live event. It has really been a labor of love. And I think what they have done in just 2 years has really been incredible. So shout out to them. I'm excited to see what year 3 is going to look like. So fans, please, SHW, we've not had a chance to get together all year. Let's kind of have the party before the party, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you make your way January 26th. Again, it's 9 days from today. So there's no Royal Rumble that night. I don't think there's any other major events happening that night. So you can
Correct.
make your way out. It'll be early enough where if the kids have to get back to school, you'll be able to get them back to school. But a great night spent with wrestlers. And let me just throw this out here, too. This is something you don't get to do with other major companies, if we're completely honest, right? Like you don't get to go to the Hall of Fame gala with WWE or whatever things AEW might be doing to gather its wrestlers to be that close to them. You get
Right.
that opportunity coming up in just a few days. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. You get to eat with your favorite personalities, say hi to them, take pictures with them, all of the things, and celebrate them as they are honored for the hard work that they have put in the last year. So again, January 26th, hope to see you guys there. GeorgiaWrestling.eventb.com is the website to get your tickets, and we look forward to seeing you guys there.
Absolutely. And another thing too about the fans coming to these events, you're welcome to dress up and dress to the nines as well.
Absolutely.
And so what's very cool,
Totally.
we've seen plenty of fans that come and then want to get the pictures with the wrestlers on the red carpet
Yeah.
with the cool
Yes.
backdrop and everything. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, you're a part of it. You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
not just coming to watch the show. Like you be a part
Right.
of it and get pictures with all your favorites. So
Yeah.
and come say hey to us, obviously.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
we love to see y'all there. So can't wait,
Yeah.
man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So, with all of that said, this has been a pretty big week in the space. I can't talk. A pretty
that
big
big.
week.
Oh,
It has
no.
been that big.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been that big. And you guys may have heard a major announcement that dropped yesterday with this partnership. It's going to be happening between WWE and TNA, which gets very interesting because you just never know who will kind of go through that portal. We've had a bit of a forbidden door dating back to 2020 with the first event back, which was Rumble Jack, and we saw some names and some spaces that we never thought we'd see in a Southern Honor space. And so as we're starting to see more promotions work together, I thought it would be interesting to just talk about, what promotions would we like to see Southern Honor work with,
Hmm.
whether it's a regular exchange of talent or a super show. I mean, we're seeing with WWE and TNA, it's specifically going to impact the NXT side of things as soon as this Sunday for
Wow.
their upcoming Genesis pay-per-view, which, again, the possibilities are endless. It's a multi-year deal. So we'd not necessarily be just talking about a one-off with Southern Honor and some other company. But I'm curious, and it doesn't have to be in Georgia because there are a lot of great independent companies that are out there. Who would you like to see Southern Honor do some work with, and perhaps even some potential matches that you'd like to see?
I'll let Brandon start because
Well, my first thought, I mean, as you mentioned, GB, yes, we have kind of dabbled in the other promotions in Georgia, working
Sure.
with them here and there, and actually having other championships defended on some of our shows. I mean, we even had the TCW SHW combined show last year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But one of my first thoughts was some of these other out of state shows, like you mentioned, like
Mhm.
what about an AML up in North Carolina? I mean, I think, they do a lot of big things. You and
Yeah.
I are very close with Psycho Boy Fodder, who does a lot of work with
Yes.
them up there. I mean, I
Yes.
could see, them defending their title down here, or us defending our title up there, or
Yeah.
us having like we had the TCW SHW show, having a show like that, where
Sure.
you're seeing their guys versus our guys in singles
Yeah.
matches and tag team matches.
Yeah.
There's, New South over in Alabama. That's
Yeah.
they're a big dog over there that I think
Mhm.
we could go toe to toe with. And
Yeah.
so, man, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Didn't Ace, is that Ace and Amy?
That's
Is
Pro
this-
South.
That's
That's
Pro
Pro
South.
South.
No, Pro
Yeah.
South we've
Yeah.
done
Yeah, I
stuff
get
with
on mixed up.
we've done
Yeah.
some stuff with
I'll
Pro
do
South
better,
before.
guys. I'll do better.
There's a lot of South.
It's
There's
so
Southern,
hard to keep up.
yeah, Southern
Mhm.
Honor, Southern Fried. There's a lot of
Right.
South,
I mean, I know
Southern,
Yeah.
faces and then I know where they are, but just the name of the promotion is always.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the possibilities are endless. I mean,
They
I'm
are.
open to anybody and everybody,
Yeah.
but there's a lot that's involved with that kind of stuff, but wishful thinking. I'd love to see it happen. So yeah, absolutely. Diana, what do you
Diana?
think?
Dude, I mean, I say let's just throw out the welcome blanket and let's just go with it. Whoever wants to come, let's just do it. I mean, don't say no. You never know what you're going to come up with, what's going to happen, what kind of crazy match you'll have if you just come.
And
Come.
that's kind of what the Rumble Jack
Yeah,
was. But it was, as you mentioned, GB, that 2020. We were looking around, going, "What in the world is happening here?" There were
Yeah.
champions from like Anarchy showing up, Southern
yeah,
Fried showing up, all these
Hmm.
different promotions. It was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
The reason that was so special too was because everybody was off for like 6 months because of the pandemic, right? And so
Right. Right.
it was
everybody
just
wanted to wrestle. Yeah,
not only a homecoming for SHW, but it was kind of like a homecoming for Georgia wrestling. Like
Yeah.
everybody was showing up that night, and that was a special, special night. So,
I'd
Yeah.
um,
like to see something like what the tap out guys did,
that's right.
Hmm.
Hell
where we
freezes
just
over. Yeah,
so many different promotions in one building, just doing their own thing, but
Yeah.
all together, just to showcase what we have in Georgia, and not like you said, not just in Georgia, but just everything we have. Because everybody like me, I don't get to go everywhere. I mean, I go a
Hmm.
lot, but I don't get to go
yeah,
everywhere, so I don't
Yeah.
get to see and keep up with everything that's going on outside of Georgia or everything in Georgia. To be honest with you, it's just a lot. But I would love to be a part of that again. That was such a fun night, and
Yeah.
just to learn and see different things from different promotions that I don't normally
Yeah.
get to see. I'm all for that.
For
yeah.
If that were
sure.
to happen, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's some real opportunities for a lot of promotions to do some work together.
Yeah,
Obviously, the cool thing that the three of us have in common is we do actually do work outside of Southern Honor. So we get to see some things. And obviously, we know that most fans aren't just fans of one particular
right.
promotion. So obviously, there are names and promotions you guys would like to see. Personally, I'd love to see a moment where Southern Honor taps into what's going on with Ashe Wrestling.
I was
I
going to say
think
that,
there
but
are
this is
some
where it was going to be.
real I think there are some real opportunities, and there are some wrestlers from Southern Honor who have performed at Ashe.
Yeah,
And so it'd be, Ashton Starr, Owen Knight, Joe Black recently debuted, so a moment where you have our Southern Honor champion, Joe Black, perhaps going up against the brand new Ashe men's champion in Darius Carter. I mean, like the possibilities really are endless in terms of what you could have in a moment like that. Equally, get some folks their passports and let's have an interpromotional situation with All Caribbean Wrestling, which I think the possibilities there of showcasing what Southern Honor is doing to, again, a larger audience, I think would be amazing. I maintain that Southern Honor is by far one of the best promotions
yeah,
in the world. And I think, having a space where more eyes are on it. That's one of the great things that these multi-promotional agreements allow for is for the different audiences to be exposed to new talent and to new opportunities. And so it puts you in a different light. And so, I'd love to see things like that happen. There's another promotion, two that are in my head. One is Firestar Pro out of
Mm,
mm,
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina. Yeah,
Jackson Drake, who we are
yeah.
familiar with, comes from there. And that's also run by LeBron Cozone. And speaking of Cozone, I'd love to see DPW involved with Southern Honor. They're doing some big things and they kind of travel all over the place, as does, if I'm going to the Pacific Northwest, we got to talk about Defy. That is the company that brought us Swerve Strickland. It's the company
Mhm.
that brought us Darby Allen. I mean, it has been a housing space for some incredible wrestling. So I think there's some real opportunities across the country for Southern Honor to connect with if ever we got into some sort of multi-promotional agreement. I think that would be a great, great space again for Southern Honor and their fans to get exposed to new talent, for this talent that's been here to travel to some other spaces, and for some of that other talent to make its way to what we're doing here.
yeah. I love all of that, man. That all sounds good.
Um,
I did want to, you reminded me, you mentioned Jackson Drake,
Mhm.
and I heard it when I watched the podcast last week. You mentioned, and I want to second it. I want to
Yeah.
second what you said was that it was overlooked when it came to match of the year, but Jackson Drake and Joe Black, SHW, which one was that? October?
I
No,
think it's
November?
66 or 7. It was the one after the TCW show.
Okay. So yeah, so it was the
So
November show, right?
66 yeah, the
Yeah.
November show.
But
Yes,
anyways,
definitely the November show.
you just reminded me of that when you said Jackson Drake, because that one, and when I heard you say it on the podcast last week, look, not to take anything away from the nominees that got nominated, but that was one that, that should have been up there,
Yeah,
I think. But
definitely should have been there.
yeah.
yeah.
Definitely should have
So
been there
special shout out to Joe Black and Jackson Drake for that match.
for
'Cause,
sure.
man,
Yeah.
that was good.
But that match is a great reminder of two things. One, the interpromotional piece that we were talking about, considering all the work that Jackson Drake has done in North Carolina and other places. And
Yeah.
two, the fact that you've got to end up at Southern Honor because people like a Jackson Drake ended up on NXT just the other week as they were showing all of the members of the WWE ID class. So again, it's kind of incredible. You know, we've seen Brooks Jensen, obviously, the former Ben Buchanan. So Southern Honor houses so much incredible talent,
Mhm.
and you do yourself a disservice not to show up on a monthly basis to be able to check out who's in that ring because you just never know.
Right.
You know, you never ever know. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited again for all the talent that we're going to be showcasing again February 7th for SHW 70. Again, mark your calendars for that. I know many of you wanted to be at the January show as we did, but you know,
Yeah.
none of us were in control of that, and I actually think the right call was made.
Oh yeah.
Normally, with these weather situations, you know, everybody cancels and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
This time it happened, and I'm glad we canceled because I would not have wanted anybody to try to, you know, work their way there and you know end up in some challenging spaces. So mark your calendars. February 7th, we're back in the Action Building. Before then, of course, it's January 26th for the third annual in-person Georgia Wrestling History Awards. I'm really excited. It's a great time to connect with the rest of the wrestling community, and I hope you guys will be there. It's always more fun when the fans are hanging out with us.
Yeah, I absolutely can't
I'm
wait.
gonna have a ball either way, but I wish you guys would come.
Yeah,
Just saying.
we're going to have a good time regardless, but
We are.
it'll be even
Come have
better.
fun with us.
Yeah, it'd be even better if you guys show up and join us and root on your favorites throughout the Georgia indie scene, and of course, especially Southern Honor, who I mentioned is highly represented throughout the nominations in all the pretty much or most of the categories, at least. Maybe not
Yeah.
every single one, but most of them. And so, yeah, very exciting. Oh, another thing I was just thinking, GB, when you were mentioning other promotions that would be fun to see go toe to toe, it gets a little tricky because what happened was SHW versus TCW. You and I are the voices for both of those, and so they're a
Sure.
combined show. I was like, this is
Sure.
interesting. So when you
Yeah.
mentioned Ashe and All Caribbean or whoever
Yeah.
else it might be, I was like, wait a second,
Yeah.
got to be a little. Oh,
Well,
which
I
side
think
of the
the
booth
fun-
do I sit on here?
the fun part is you sit right in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've got
Exactly.
enough skin in the game for all of them. So
Exactly.
that actually might make our jobs easier because we don't have to take sides.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
you
I'll
know,
announce one, I'll announce the other, and then I'll announce the winner. Either way,
yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
So that's exciting. That's
But
exciting.
yeah,
Hey, I asked Diana this last time, and I didn't get to ask you because obviously you weren't here. But what kind of goals and plans do you have for 2025, man?
goals and plans for 2025, the same goals I have most years, which is to put out great shows, put out some of the best product we can, get our footprint out there a little more, expand a little bit. Maybe we talk about all these out-of-state promotions, perhaps dabble in some of these out-of-state shows to see what we can do there as well. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell, but I'm excited. 2025 is looking bright. Every year since we've gotten together, back in when was it, 2019?
Yeah, end of 2019.
Every year has gotten bigger and more things have happened.
That's true.
And, it's just kind of boom, 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 stepping in the right direction. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. What was your, I remember you asking Diana, did you have one too? What was yours?
Did I have some?
Yeah.
Me?
I know you have
Oh.
some big goals, but I don't remember if she asked you
Yeah.
or You just asked her.
I don't remember if I talked about them or not, but
Yeah.
You did. You touched. You
I
touched.
Touched on
did.
them a little bit. Yeah.
I touched
Okay.
a little bit. I will say that I did something coming into this year that I haven't done in years, and that is I actually took time to write out what I
That's right.
want
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
year to look like, and I
Yeah.
took some time to dream. And I think too often most of us don't, because if we're honest, society doesn't really promote that. It's just like, oh, what happens, and if you're dreaming, you're crazy, and that'll never happen, and all that type of stuff. I'm the crazy one, so yeah, I will dream, I will push, and then I will connect with people who understand how to get there. So I had some goals for 2024. We hit some of them, we didn't hit others, but I do feel like in 2024 we made so many inroads to the spaces that we want to be, that 2024 by no means is a loss. 2024 was a great year.
Yeah.
You talked about expanding footprints. I mean, I got to do some pretty amazing things in
Yeah.
2024. We collectively did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to imagine that we took that trip to Greensboro together
Yeah.
for Sting's final match, and it's felt like that's a lifetime ago,
I know.
but that was 2024 amid all of the other things that we had the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
So 2025, I'm really looking forward to accomplishing the kinds of things that people won't forget.
Yeah. I like
That's
that.
the
That's
easiest
good.
way to say that.
That's
It's
good.
going to be so significant that even if you wanted to forget it, you wouldn't. It's going to be that kind of year.
That's
So
like a
I know,
WrestleMania moment, right?
yeah, I'll tell you, I, that's the thing. It's like, I think when you really have designed that there are spaces that you want to be in and there are
Right.
things that you want to do, you start making plans for that. And you may not always know. It's kind of like if you want to drive somewhere, you kind of put the location in the GPS, and you just start driving, right? And
Right.
if it's a long distance journey, you
Just keep
usually
going.
don't know all the twists and turns, but you just know, okay, all right, it's really quiet right now. I guess I'm just going to stay on this road until the GPS says something. And when they say something, I'm going to make the turn or do whatever it is I need to do. So that's where I am. The goal has been put in the GPS.
There you
And
go.
so we are on the journey, and wherever it takes us, I am certain that it's going to be bigger and better than I imagine, and you guys won't forget it.
There you go. And
Yeah.
you mentioned
Right.
2024, not a loss by a long shot. I would say
Yeah.
every year since I met you guys, 2019 all the way through now, none of those years were losses by long shots.
None.
Little by little,
None.
things have happened.
Yes.
Everything's going in the direction. You know what direction I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
like even 2020, people go, yeah, it was a pandemic year. 2020, we made some big connections in 2020.
We
You know what I
did.
Yeah.
mean? That
We
helped us get
did.
even farther. So I mean, all these years
Yeah.
collectively have just slowly, and then
Yeah.
boom. But yeah, no, I like that.
You
I like the way
no,
you
and
put that.
you're right, because I think what happens is sometimes we will think, the collective we and the individual we will think that, because the announcement didn't happen, then oh man, but we're literally making steps. And
Yeah.
so the steps aren't always publicized. There
Right.
aren't always announcements about the steps. And so the people watching this have no clue what we're talking about. And that's okay, because guess what? In their lives, it's the same thing. If you're working toward that job or that desired space, you don't tell everybody when you have the interview, or at least I hope you don't. Maybe you do. I don't know. Some people do. You don't tell people when you apply for it. You don't tell people when you had lunch with the appropriate people, because moves are being made silently. When the time comes, you'll be able to make the announcement. And so I hope that what we're doing inspires you guys to continue dreaming and have a really, really big 2025. Because you're right, Brandon, every year really has gotten bigger. And sometimes you have to step back and really consider that, consider not losing the journey for the destination. The
Right.
destination's important, but the journey is equally, if not more important, because what the journey is going to do is actually equip you so when you get to the destination, you can properly handle it. And so I'm
Don't
excited.
get comfortable.
No.
Don't get comfortable.
See, I don't want to go here, but what ends up happening for a lot of us is on the journey, we get to the rest area.
Right.
And we stop at the rest area and we camp out. No,
Take a
it's
little
the
too
rest
much.
area. You got to get back in the car and keep driving. And so don't get stuck in the rest area in 2025, guys. It's too big. It's too big.
There you
There's
go.
too many people there resting.
Too
Too many
many
people there
people. And okay, I won't say that. Yeah, there are too many people, and because of that, there are people who have become complacent at certain levels that they're bigger than. And so, you're satisfied being a little fish, excuse me, a big fish in a little pond. And that only works for so long.
Right.
Only works for so long. So, yeah. Do with that what you desire. How
There you
about
go.
that?
I love it. I love it. Well, man.
For your next motivation class on next week, Mr. G.B. Bonner will be speaking.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And we've got, what'd you say, Diana? This is 197, right? So
crazy.
197.
And we've got 3 weeks until the next show. So the goal will be to have episode 200 be live in the Action Building
it's gonna be fun.
As the pre-show for SHW 70, which is on
Seriously,
February.
let's just make that a plan. Let's just make that
absolutely.
a plan.
For sure.
We'll bring streamers. I still have rose petals from before that we can commemorate all that.
You know what I have? I need to find them. I have them here somewhere. This is when we were hitting episode 100, and I thought it would be funny to shoot off those confetti poppers, but then I thought to myself, we were doing it on Zoom, and I was like, I'm going to have to clean this up, so I decided not to, but I've got them.
All right, go get those.
I think they're here somewhere. I'll have to find them, and then we'll bring them to the show at the Action Building. Hopefully Miss Faye's not listening, because she'll be like, now I've got to clean that up. So maybe she won't hear this.
I'll help her sweep.
I'll sweep it up afterwards. How about that? We'll sweep it up afterwards.
How about that? That's great.
Anyways, but
get the leaf blower. I'll bring the leaf blower. Just blow it up. Yeah,
so
that's great.
Confetti poppers, whatever they're called.
Yes.
Community cakes. Okay. All right. We're making a list. Making a list. All right.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be fun. So, but we'll be back right here in the next Friday, and then the Friday after that, in order to get to 200 on February 7th. But as GB mentioned, February 7th, SHW 70. Cannot wait to see you guys. And prior to that, next Sunday, the 26th, the Georgia Wrestling Awards. Can't wait to see you guys for that either. But guys, I'm excited. It's exciting few weeks coming up.
It is.
Well, I'm just ready to see y'all, because I mean, I'm ready to see my team together.
Yes.
And we're
you
not
don't know
working.
what that does for me.
It's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys need a tribe. You need people you can hang out with who you're not in competition with.
Who get it.
Who get it. Totally.
Because everybody don't get it. I mean, I can say certain things that nobody else understands to these two people right here, and they know.
For sure.
They're in my head. They know exactly what I'm saying. Even when I can't say it because I get emotional, you guys know.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a crier. I'm tough cookie, but I'm a crier. So.
But don't get going too much, because I'll get going.
I know.
I'll get going. Easy now. Easy now.
I love it.
Oh, but hey, you know what? This is awesome. So good to see you guys. I think that's a good wrapping point for this week.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
But let's do it again next week, shall we? And hopefully we'll see you guys soon at the upcoming dates we mentioned. But we will definitely see you back here, right here on the podcast next Friday. But until then, this has been
SHW.
This is our wrestling.
Bam.